Welcome everyone to the AD Lunch Series sponsored by Auto Owners. We can't thank Auto Owners Insurance enough for not only sponsoring the AD Lunch Series, but for their wonderful partnership with MSU Athletics. So Auto Owners and our friends with Auto Owners Insurance, thank you so much for joining us today and for your constant and continual support of our MSU Athletics programs. We thank all of you for joining us today. We're sorry that we can't get together and have lunch together, but we hope you've got a little lunch on your own and that you're enjoying something tasty in the safety of wherever you might be watching. Normally we'd host this event in person at one of our athletic venues. Unfortunately, the pandemic has forced us to all adjust and adapt. If anything, it's allowed us to pivot and now broadcast this event for the first time. A positive, in my opinion, as we're now able to share our stories and messages from our head coaches and student athletes to a much broader audience. Before introducing our first head coach, I'd like to take this opportunity to provide a little bit of an athletic department update. This pandemic has affected us all in one way or another, and MSU Athletics is certainly not immune from those effects. For our student athletes, it's affected the way they learn in a virtual classroom and how they train as they prepare for competition. And we're returning to competition under some pretty unique circumstances. Student athletes and coaches are wearing masks, competing in empty stadiums and arenas, but we're also very intent on ensuring a healthy and safe environment for all participants. From a financial standpoint, the pandemic has presented us with some very difficult financial circumstances. I've shared with our staff that 2020 is likely the most challenging year in the history of college athletics, and I think that's proving to be true. Our budget relies heavily on television, ticket sales, and donations to invest in the success of our student athletes both on and off the field. With shortened seasons, our television revenue has been diminished. Without fans in the stands, ticket sales obviously don't exist. And without competition to get all of us excited, investments have slowed. Through all of this, our department has taken steps to meet the financial challenges head on. They certainly haven't been easy. I've challenged all of our head coaches and our units not to think of this as a year of staying within your budget, but to really think of it as a year of figuring out how to spend as absolutely little as possible. Our budget's about 1/3 personnel and 2/3 other things. And so as much of that non-personnel money as we can save, we're working very, very hard to do. We've minimized equipment and operational costs. We've deferred maintenance if at all possible and when safe to do so. At the same time, we've had temporary salary reductions for about 1/3 of our staff, ranging from 1% to about 23%. We've furloughed more than 50 people for a month or more. We've instituted a hiring freeze. We won't be filling at least 11 open positions this year. At the onset of the pandemic, our projected revenue losses exceeded about $80 million. Most of that coming from the inability to play football. With football and the TV revenue returning, it makes us again much better off, but certainly not whole. We're happy that with the return of an 8 or 9 game football schedule and the TV revenue that comes with that, we'll be able to, we think, come very close to break even. Yet still, we'll be experiencing about a $40 million revenue gap from what would be a normal year. Breaking even financially, however, severely limits our flexibility and certainly makes it harder to advance. Additionally, there have been unplanned COVID-related expenses, including testing and safety measures that we've implemented. Despite these challenges, you would expect nothing less than for us to plan to aggressively move forward, staying focused on our mission to create opportunities for our student athletes to succeed on the field of play, in the classroom, and in their life's pursuit, while staying healthy and safe. While others are waiting for answers in an uncertain time, we invite you to join us now as we prepare to move ahead of the competition. Your support now helps us drive forward towards excellence. Here are a few ways you can help. If you're a season ticket holder, consider converting your ticket payments to a gift. We're very, very sorry that we can't accommodate our season ticket holders in the stadium this year, but over 5% of individuals so far have donated their season tickets back as a gift, and that's extraordinarily helpful. If you're a donor, we'd appreciate you considering making an additional unrestricted gift this year. They're so incredibly helpful in helping us fill the gaps and drive our program forward. And if you haven't invested with us, we'd sure appreciate you considering it. A gift that's as little as $8.34 a month turns into $100 a year, and that can make a difference in the lives of our student athletes as they compete both academically and on the field of play. Many of our varsity sports continue to excel or are on the cusp of greatness, many of which you'll hear from today. You can help us commit to excellence and invest in our student athlete success by visiting SpartanFund.net. That's SpartanFund.net. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for all of the support you've provided, and I'm really excited to get this program underway. So let's get started and meet some of our head coaches and the student athletes they've had join them today. First up is Walt Drenth. Coach Drenth is in his 15th year as the director of track and field and cross country at Michigan State. He has more than 30 years of collegiate coaching experience on his resume, and he's really made a difference here at Michigan State. Walt led the Spartan women's cross country team to the 2019 Big Ten title. He's had 729, let me repeat that, 729 academic All Big Ten honorees, 180 All-Americans, 81 academic All-Americans, 169 Big Ten Distinguished Scholar honorees, 40 individual conference champions, 40 NCAA Top 20 finishes, 18 academic All-Americans. Walt was named the 2014 Women's National Coach of the Year after guiding our women's cross-country team to its first national championship. He's a 7-time Big Ten Coach of the Year, 7 times Great Lakes Region Coach of the Year. His daughter Emma was also part of that 2014 national championship team. Now, I try and give you all a little bit of value for participation here, and I force our coaches to provide a fun fact, and something that we just couldn't learn about them from Googling them all day long. And so Walt's fun fact is that his favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. So Walt, before you update us all on your program and introduce your student athletes, what makes Thanksgiving your favorite holiday?
I'll try to keep it brief. My wife and I moved to Williamsburg, Virginia to coach at William & Mary in 1990, and we didn't have the money to come home. It was our first Thanksgiving away, and we were kind of on our own. We had a few family members join us, and it recurred to us that a bunch of athletes didn't have anywhere to go either. So we ended up having a house full of people. I grilled turkeys, and since 1990, we have had a house full of people, many of whom are our student athletes. Now we host, under normal circumstances, we host people from campus, maybe international students, and we've had an array of people through our house at Thanksgiving. It's always just been a joy to be able to meet new people and to bring people in that maybe don't otherwise have a place to go. Just kind of turned into a blast for us, and we'll have as many as 30 to 35 people on Thanksgiving in our house, and so yeah, it's something we really look forward to, and I suppose my favorite holiday.
Excellent. Walt, tell us a little bit about the program, and then we're excited to hear from your students.
Yeah, I think we're going forward. We've had to change a few things, obviously, with our pandemic and COVID. But for the most part, I think we're trying to create as much normalcy as possible for our student athletes. We try to meet with them every afternoon for practice. We're going through time trials, and there are a couple of open events that they can participate in mid-late November. So we're just we're just trying to move forward. Our women are preseason ranked in cross country, I think 4th in the country. Our men are perennially a top 25 team. I think they're very good. So I'm excited about the direction that both programs are going. I'm excited about the leaders on our team. It's been an interesting fall. I'm excited for our track and field team with our men and women jumpers, throwers, sprinters working every day, and the leadership there has been fantastic. So it's been a lot of fun to watch them sort of embrace a challenging situation for sure.
Super. And you have a student athlete to introduce?
I have a couple of them. I don't know who's supposed to go first. I suppose I'll start with Jenna Magnus. Jenna is from Grand Ledge. Both of the people that I'm going to introduce are engineers. Jenna's a chemical engineer. She came to us and has developed into one of the conference elite. She scored high in the conference last year at the indoor conference meet at 5,000 meters, and I think is evolving now into arguably our best runner. She's she just embraced the work. She's fearless. There are a few people that you get to coach through the course of your career that are easy to identify because they never get in their own way when it comes to competition, and Jenna epitomizes that. I'm always excited to see what's going to happen when she competes, because she never gets the shenanigans that get the better of some people. So it's just fun to watch. I'm going to turn it over to Jenna.
Yeah, so I'm from Grand Ledge, Michigan. So like kind of Lansing area. So I guess, Michigan State's always kind of felt like home. I grew up going to all the football games and stuff like that. So then when the coaches reached out to me and asked me to take a visit, I was like, MSU is a great school academically. Like, they have a great team. Yeah. So, and then once I came here for my visit and, saw all the girls that I would be surrounded with as my teammates and the coaches and the athletic training staff, that was when I really knew that, like, I wanted to come to MSU and be a part of this program. And then once I got here, I never really imagined that I would have the experience that I've ended up having. I came in and I was injured. I didn't race at all my first cross country season. But I did go to like the national championship meet, and I saw all those girls competing at such a high level. And it was just really inspiring to me. And I was like, I want to be a part of that. So over the course of that year, I just feel like I worked really hard, and I ended up running a really good race in the spring in track. And that was when everything kind of clicked for me, I feel like. And I was like, wow, I can really accomplish something cool here in my career. So over the course pretty much the next year, I just worked really hard and trusted the coaches and connected with my teammates. And suddenly, like, I was running with the top group, like our top training group. And I was like, whoa. So, yeah, I am just so thankful for like all the experiences that I've had, in my time here at MSU. And I just feel like I've grown so much as an athlete and a person. And I have another year of eligibility after this one. So I'm really excited to see where that takes me.
So I guess I'm supposed to introduce Morgan now. The next person I'm going to introduce is Morgan Beadlescombe. Sorry. Morgan is in his 5th year. We're trying to kind of wrestle through whether he's going to return for another year or not. But he's a Big Ten champion at 5,000 meters indoors. He was an NCAA qualifier, an All-American in cross country, an NCAA qualifier, and an All-American on the track last year. He had a breakout winter prior to COVID. I felt honestly he was a dark horse to maybe sneak in and win a national championship last winter before the plug got pulled. But Morgan ran 13:31, which is one of the fastest times in the country last year. For people that don't know how fast that is, essentially he averaged just over 421 a mile for over 3 miles, which most of us would be pretty excited if we could run 421 for 800 meters, and he just kept going. So again, Morgan's an engineer. I call him sort of his own personal Portland, because he can do a lot of things. It's pretty remarkable the things that he has his hand in, just in terms of, besides being an engineer, he can come fix your lawnmower. He can, I just find him to be a remarkable person, and I'm excited and privileged to be able to coach him. So Morgan Beetleston.
Thank you, Coach, and thank you, Bill, for having me. Since I first got to MSU as a recruit, I felt like I really fit in. I feel like we had a really tough team. I feel like we had a lot of guys that just worked really hard, and I felt like I could really trust the coaches. Like all of the coaches were really knowledgeable and were able to teach me and train me in a way that I would understand what was going on, which is huge because I ask a lot of questions. And a lot of people say there aren't any dumb questions, but I can come up with some. But really, since I've got here, I felt like I have learned a lot about running, about engineering, and just about, being an adult and trying to develop into a professional in athletics and academics, and hopefully a professional engineer. So I feel like MSU's facilities in academics and athletics have allowed me to just grow immensely as a person. So I'm really thankful for that. I'm really thankful that the coaches have been so helpful throughout my entire 4 or 5 year career here. I feel like if I wouldn't be able to do what I do without all of that support and all of those people that help out every day, even during this time. So I'm really thankful for that.
Well, Walt and Morgan and Jenna, thanks so much for joining us today and sharing your MSU experiences. We very, very much appreciate it, and best of luck as we get prepared for a season. Timing is a little off this year. We won't be running till after the first of the calendar year, but very much looking forward to seeing you in action. And thanks for joining us today.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us, Bill.
So now we'll bring in our next head coach, Damon Rensing. Damon is a former MSU soccer standout himself. He's beginning his 12th season as head coach. He also served as an assistant coach here at MSU for 10 years. Damon has compiled an impressive 120, 78, and 33 record. In his first 11 years as head coach, the Spartans have made 8 NCAA tournament campaigns, including a run to the College Cup, soccer's Final Four, in 2018. Under Damon's leadership, the Spartans have earned 26 All-Big Ten and 19 NSCAA All-Region selections. In addition, 9 players have been named to the Big Ten All-Tournament team. And beyond competition, in the last 11 years, MSU men's soccer has earned 103 academic All-Big Ten selections, 42 Big Ten Distinguished Scholar selections, and 14 of Damon's players have been drafted by MLS teams. So a fun fact about Damon, sometimes we ask, what's a useless talent that you have? Damon shared that he's pretty good at card tricks. So Damon, do you have a favorite card trick?
Yeah, I do. I do have a couple
right now.
I don't know if I can do it right now, but I had one where I could use the whole deck. I would let people in the room cut the deck. I could keep finding the cards and tell a whole story using all 52 cards. But, back in my freshman and sophomore years at Wilson Hall, that might have been considered a useful trick to have a talent. But nowadays, I don't think it's it's more in the useless column.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing that in person at some point.
Sounds good.
So go ahead and share with us how things are going in the program, and then we'll look forward to you introducing your student athlete.
Awesome. Well, first, just hope everyone out there is doing well, staying safe, and kind of adjusting with the times. I know it's been an adjustment for me and my family with a middle schooler and a high schooler. And, early on in the pandemic, I kind of enjoyed some of the time off, doing things around the house, cooking, going on bike rides with my kids and some house chores. And I kind of thought for a second, without this coaching and recruiting and travel, I could be pretty good at this father-husband thing. But after a few weeks, it gets a little stagnant, obviously, and we've been eager to get back on the training field. And so about mid to late August, we got back on the field, and it's been great. It's not perfect. Obviously, there's quarantines and stoppages, and I'd like to say that our doctors, our athletic trainers, the protocols that we've had in place for our student athletes has been spot on, and it's been great to help us head coaches navigate this process. But the one thing I have really kind of enjoyed, and I think what's been really important is the training sessions that we do with this group has been 2 hours of normalcy for these student athletes and for us coaches and my staff. And so for us just to get out there and to train and practice and try to get a little better has been great. And so we're really excited with the group. Last year we were a pretty young group. As Bill mentioned, in 2018 we went to the College Cup, our Final Four, and last year we only had 2 starters back for that with injuries and whatnot. But this year we've only got a couple seniors. We've got a really good group, so this team should be intact for the next couple of years, and we're really looking forward to it. I've been around, obviously, at Michigan State for a couple decades now, and I've always tried to glean things off of other coaches, and certainly Coach Izzo, who's the best in the business. We've really kind of taken his scheduling model, and we've tried to play at cool places. We play some of the hardest schedules in the country, and that really prepares us for our NCAA tournament, and that has provided us a lot of success. And with our season potentially starting in February 3rd, I think that the Coach Izzo, anytime, anywhere, anyone is really going to come into effect, because I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to play some soccer games February 3rd in Michigan. But whatever they are and wherever it is, as long as it's safe for the student athletes, we'll be ready to take on anybody, anytime, anywhere. Lastly, before I introduce Farai Mutatu, who's a special student athlete for us, one of my mottos have been with the players through this time, because we have a lot of, I think, kids that come in and they just want to go from freshman to All-American right away. And I just try to shorten the focus for them. And one of our mottos every day is, can we just get a little bit better every day? And that's been our focus, getting a little bit better, not going from point A to point Z, but just get from point A to point B. And as we turn back after a month, 2 months, 3 months, look back, that gap will really will be huge, and we'll see really big strides in improvement. So I just want to thank all of you donors for giving our young men an opportunity to get better, a little better every day. And this group certainly has, and this player, Farai Mutatu, certainly has as well. To be quite honest, when I coach soccer, a lot of the players that get to my program have not really had a lot of adversity in their life. They just have had, they've been pretty gifted. They've come from pretty good backgrounds. And so when I tell a freshman that he's not starting or he's not traveling, sometimes it seems like the world's going to end. And yet a player like Farai Mutatu has had some adversity in his life. I'm assuming he'll probably expound on that a little bit. So I've really got a mature kid. And so when I told him maybe he's not starting as a freshman, he just put his head down and started working and handled that adversity. And soon enough, he was starting as a freshman, started last year. He's from Hazlitt. If you get a chance, there's a Lansing State Journal article about Farai and a few of his friends who have tried to help with the Hazlitt school community on social change and becoming more inclusionary with everything that we do. So he's a special player, but certainly even more a special individual off the field on how he handles himself in the classroom, in the community. And so we're very, very fortunate to have someone like Farai.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Coach Damon, for the intro, and Bill for having me. and giving me this opportunity to speak to y'all today. For those who don't know me, like Coach said, my name is Fry Mutatu. I'm a forward here on the men's soccer team. And just a little bit of my story. I'm a local kid, grew up in Haslett, Michigan, but I was originally born in Zimbabwe. My parents migrated to Michigan in 2006 in pursuit of a better life for the family. I'm the third born out of 4 kids in the house, with 2 older brothers and 1 little sister. Living in Lansing, I grew up a huge Michigan State fan. When I started getting into soccer around 8 years old, one of my favorite things to do was to come to the Martin Stadium and watch MSU soccer legends like Cyrus Sadie and Fatai Lashi. And so, I didn't grow up wealthy. My parents, being first-generation immigrants, my parents worked really hard to give us the best life possible. Fast forward, several years later, unfortunately, my parents had to go back to Zimbabwe. And due to reasons out of their control, were not able to come back, leaving my 22-year-old brother to take care of me and my little sister. I remember seeing how hard my brother was working to take care of me and my little sister, and my little sister not being able to see her parents. And I remember making a promise to God and saying that I would do anything in my power to just give my family a better life. We trusted God in prayer, and we clinged onto each other more than ever as a family. I remember fast forward, it's my sophomore year in high school, and recruiting started for colleges. And I remember my very first call was from Michigan State University. And I'll never forget, on my official visit, Coach Damon sat down with my family, and he said that he may never fully understand what life has been like for my family, but he promised that him and this program will not only support Fry the soccer player, but he promised that we would be there for Fry the Christian, Fry the student, and also Fry the family man, not just for 4 years, but for the rest of my life. To this day, now as a junior on the men's team, I'm a witness to the truth of those words that he spoke that day. This program has not only been a place, where I've grown as a soccer player, but a place where I found who I truly am. I've learned through success, being part of a team in 2018, like Coach said, to reach the Final Four in over 50 years. And some of my greatest lessons have also come through losses, teaching me to wake up every day, to work on your craft until you see the results that you want. The bond that I have with my teammates and my coaches is one that I'll have for a long time, and I'll cherish for a lifetime. So thank you to all of you, donors, coaches, athletic directors, athletic trainers, for you haven't just invested in this program, but you invested into me. That same kid who was inspired by this program now gets to put on that jersey and play under the lights, and hopefully inspire the next generation of students and people and kids. This is truly a Spartan family, and that's why I give my absolute all to this program, because I want to leave it better than I found it, and my time here has prepared me for whatever comes next in my life, and whatever challenges I face, I know I'll be prepared and I'll be ready. So my gratitude for all of you who have invested, who have given. It's too great to just express it with my words. So I'll just continue to show it on the field and off the field. So thank you guys, and thank you for everything. Thank you, Spartan family. Go green.
Go white. Thanks so much, Damon, and thanks, Farai, for those really extraordinary and inspiring words. So look forward to seeing you all have a chance to play after the first of the year, and we'll figure it out. We may need some warm coats. You guys will be warm on the field, but we're looking forward to a great season. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So our next coach is Helen Knull, our field hockey coach. Helen's entering her 10th season as head coach, her 15th season overall at Michigan State. Helen guided the 2013 Spartans to the Big Ten Tournament Championship, following that up with an Elite Eight appearance. Under Helen's leadership, the MSU field hockey team has produced 17 All Big Ten selections, 11 regional All-American honors, 3 national All-Americans. For 15 consecutive years, the program has been recognized with academic team honors by the National Field Hockey Coaches Association. In addition, Helen has coached 114 academic All Big Ten selections. Helen was born in Scotland, came to the States to play field hockey at Kent State University, and we're thrilled to have her here at Michigan State as our head coach. Fun fact about Helen, one of her pet peeves is loud chewers. So happily, this is a fine event because all of you are on mute. So regardless of how you're chewing, we can't hear you. So with that, I will turn it over to Helen to tell us a little bit about how her team's doing and to introduce her student athlete. Helen, thanks for being here.
Yep, thanks, Will, and thanks for having me today. Just like our previous coaches have already spoken to you all, this has been a different and challenging couple months for, I think, all of us, but I cannot credit my team and my staff enough, and obviously everyone in the department for preparing us for coming back. Just to give you a little update where we are, the team obviously left in March and they reported back to start early September with training. We've been going strong. We had our first full practices last week, having the whole team back, which was awesome. It was a really great thing to have all 24 players back. We welcomed 7 freshmen in August, and that was a bit of an adjustment getting them here. We've got 3 international students that came in, so making sure that they could actually enter the country, that their visas were valid, and never mind just helping them with the movement of trying to travel alone for the first time. Parents couldn't come with them. My upperclassmen did a fantastic job of really helping and being their family away from home when they arrived. So we've been practicing daily Monday through Friday, and I think as Walt and Damon have both mentioned, it's been great to have that sense of routine and something that's normal in our lives. So I know I look forward to getting to training every day, layering up, trying to stay warm while we're out there. We are similar to Damon. We're planning to play our 2020 season starting sometime in 2021, probably in March. This year I have 6 seniors, and of those 6, 2 of them will be graduating in December. So they'll be moving on, joining the police academy, and unfortunately won't get to play their final season in the green and white. I have 3 other seniors that will be returning and playing and getting a 5th year. And then I have my student athlete I'm going to introduce today, Jillian Mahon, who's also one of my seniors. She's a special young woman who hopefully we're going to find a way to help her play this spring. She's accepted a job already with Ernst & Young in New York City, and her life plan was not involving COVID and being back for a longer season. So we're trying to figure out how we can get her to play and also be prepared for the accounting world. Just a little insight for things on campus. So a lot of our players are taking asynchronous and synchronous classes. Our academic staff have been outstanding with making sure that our players have everything they need to be successful from home. It's been a lot of communication. It's been a lot of mentoring from, I think, all aspects, everybody on deck here within our staff and support staff. But I think the players are adjusting very well considering the circumstances. And similar to Damon's point, we're really enjoying having a fall season that our freshmen come in, and instead of having 10 days before our first game, they've got months. And we're using these months to be on our field, to really develop ourselves tactically and technically. There's no stress, there's no pressure. And it's been great to have time to integrate our freshmen into our system and how we want to play. Every Friday we play a full field green and white game. We watch the film back just like we would on a game day weekend. So it's been great to have that simulation. I know a lot of our alums and parents are hoping that we can maybe live stream those. So I said maybe a Facebook Live, we can get some games up there for them to watch. But we're looking forward to playing. We're excited to see football play on Saturday and get some Spartan athletics back. But I'm looking forward to introducing Jillian Mahon, who is, as I said, a 5th year senior. Jillian graduated last May with her undergraduate degree in accounting with a 3.63, and she is now a graduate student with a perfect 4.0. And one of the reasons I wanted to have Jillian with me today is she's an athlete that when she came in as a freshman from Connecticut, she came in and she has worked her tail off for everything that she's earned. She's in the honors college. She's taken advantage of study abroad. She's done career fairs and mixers that have got her to a point that she's in a position to have a great job when she graduates here. So Jillian and I hope that we can provide a little friendly banter and a little conversation about life for Jillian and what she's gone through and what she's had at Michigan State. So Jillian, I'm going to let you first just say a little bit about yourself, and then I'm going to ask you some questions and get some conversation going.
Absolutely. So first, I just wanted to say that it's an absolute honor to speak on behalf of our amazing program and be under the coaching of Helen. And so my name is Jillian Mahon. I am originally from Wilton, Connecticut, and just recently moved to Naples, Florida. And I'm a forward on the field hockey team, a recent MSU undergrad, and now graduate student and a part of the Honors College. And I can't wait to touch upon those points.
So as I mentioned in my intro, Jillian is one of those student athletes that has kind of got involved with everything on campus, and she's taken advantage of the opportunities. So Jillian went to Australia on a study abroad program with one of her teammates and then other student athletes from Michigan State and also other students from all over the country. So Jillian, you want to talk a little bit about study abroad and how that has impacted your life and kind of what you learned when you got to go in that experience through Michigan State?
Absolutely. So I loved studying abroad in Australia. I had the opportunity to study in Australia for 5 weeks and then also take a little trip to New Zealand. So across the world, it was an amazing experience. I was able to immerse myself in just an entirely different culture, learn about the history of Australia, and just meet some fantastic people and experience activities I would have never done before. I was able to go to Bondi Beach and travel through the 10 Apostles, and it was just a fantastic experience and was so grateful that I had that opportunity because of MSU athletics.
So a big thing for us in our summer, we have been fortunate enough last summer 2 summers ago, we brought our team back for summer school. They were here, they were training so that they had July to really work with our strength and conditioning coach to be fit and ready to go when preseason started in August. Jillian, however, last year was interning in New York City, and we talked about it, and obviously the pros and cons, and this is life, and this is the next step in our life. So Jillian, and this is part of her character and a credit to who she is, she was up at the treadmill at 5 a.m. getting her runs in, finding opportunities to play hockey while she had to put in a 40 to 60 hour week as an intern. So Jillian, do you want to talk a little bit about how you got connected for your internship and kind of what that process was like for you, and then how you brought what you learned there back to our team and our program?
Absolutely. So I had the opportunity to attend multiple career mixers at Michigan State, some through the athletic department or just some through the university itself. And so I was able to network with former student athletes and then also just alumni of MSU. And so through there, I was able to find an internship opportunity with EY, and it was a fantastic experience. I chose to return back to the East Coast, New York City. And through my internship, I really learned about time management, organizational skills, communication, and then just the basics behind leadership and developing personal character and growth. And so I was able to bring that to the team, and as a fifth year, demonstrating leadership within the program, and then also just time management, balancing a 20-hour work week of playing field hockey, managing all of my grad classes, and then also just time to be social and hang out with other friends that I've met through MSU athletics and the university.
Awesome. So Jillian just actually went back to New York to take an exam for her CPA degree, and due to COVID, we talked about it, she missed training for a week, and then she had to isolate for a week when she got back, and we're waiting for results and then for her to take her next series exam. But Jillian, can you just talk a little bit about kind of what Michigan State, especially in our academic and SAS, what they've done for you to help you with time management and preparing? I mean, I feel like your position at Michigan State has helped prepare you for these moments in your life. So can you just talk about that a little bit and how Jeremy and the staff over in Clarabelle have helped you?
Absolutely. So Jeremy Flynn is our academic coordinator, and he has done a fantastic job throughout my 4 years and then also within my grad year. We've been able to manage a great schedule of balancing general business courses with accounting courses and trying to find a happy medium of how I can succeed on the field and then in the classroom. And I just believe through all the different tutoring opportunities Michigan State offers, as well as the classes that are offered, I was able to take those opportunities and then transition that. And I'm grateful for the opportunities that Jeremy Flynn was able to help me with.
Awesome. Okay, final question for me. Tell everybody what's something that you've learned about yourself, because for those of you that don't know Jillian, she is a planner and she likes to have a plan and a schedule and know what's going on, and COVID has not allowed that to happen as of recent. So what's something you've learned about yourself in a way that you've grown in the past couple months?
Absolutely. So I just think being flexible, obviously with COVID, we've had to go through various quarantines, different scheduling tactics and then also training tactics. And I think just being flexible, knowing myself that even though I'm a planner, I have to be open to new ideas, new plans. I believe that that's really impacted me, and I've grown as an individual through that.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jillian, for joining today. And I just want to say thank you to all of our donors and Spartan fans that are with us today. And thanks to Bill for his leadership. I wish we could all be in person, but we're going to have to deal with a screen for now. So thank you, and go green.
Well, Helen and Jillian, thanks so much for being with us today and joining us on the call. We talk literally every day about making sure that our student athletes have every opportunity to be successful on the field of play, in the classroom, and in their life's pursuit. And Jillian, you've taken all of the opportunities that have been available and really have made the most of them. And we're so proud of you and in your future career, and we'll look forward to good things to come. So thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
So our next head coach really needs no introduction, and I suspect all of you can articulate his accomplishments as well as I can. But we'll add a few onto the list here. Tom Izzo enters his 26th season as our men's head basketball coach, his 38th season overall at Michigan State, a 2016 inductee into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, 22 straight NCAA tournaments, which I think we all just take so much for granted that'll happen every year, and I think have no appreciation of how truly extraordinary that really is. It's just beyond imaginable, the consistency of excellence. 16 Big Ten titles, 8 National Coach of the Year awards, 8 Final Four appearances, more than any coach in Big Ten history. National championship in 2000. Tom's the winningest coach in MSU history, the second winningest coach in Big Ten history. He certainly defines what Spartan will really means, and that was true at the start of his career when Judd refused to hire him several times and he kept fighting for a job. So we're thrilled that Judd eventually conceded the point, and Tom has been with us ever since. So a fun fact about Tom. He developed that great Yooper work ethic working for his father and grandfather at Tony Izzo and Sons and Grandsons. So, Tom, before you update us on how the team is doing, what were your job responsibilities up there working for your father?
Well, Bill, first of all, thanks for having me, and to all the people out there, thanks for being a part of the show. It's not the best way that we can spend time with you, but it sure beats the hell out of the any other way of doing it. I can do a lot of things, Bill. You'd be surprised. If you got a coat, I can put a zipper in it. If you got some carpeting, I can lay it. If you need an awning or a carport, I can do that.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. You can do it all.
Well, I don't know if that's what it's all, but it was a shoe repair. It was called Tony Izzo and Son Shoe Hospital. It's where you went to get your shoes fixed. Now people just throw them away, and get a new pair because they're all plastic. But it used to be a lot of leather, and learned a lot of my trade from my grandfather and then my father. It was a family business. There were, I think, 17 grandchildren that worked there. Wow. And I started working when I was 12, and I worked every summer from then on because that's what you did in a family business. But I think, through my dad, it really helped me get the work ethic that I think it takes to work the kind of jobs we got to work here with the hours you got to put in. So, it was a labor of love back then. And now I look back on it and, it was one of those things that I think helped mold me into, what I've become, good or bad. A Yooper that, I feel like the Clampetts going to Los Angeles. I went from the UP to East Lansing, and it's been very good to me. Go ahead.
So tell us about you've started practice now, and we've got a healthy group, and I was excited to spend some time over at practice last week and see the guys in action, and we've a tremendous amount of energy and excitement. And so tell us how things are shaping up.
Well, as you know, it's been the strangest year of all. And I must say that, we're all trying to figure out how to get through this. My meeting this morning was more about, what's the arena going to look like? How are we going to bring energy every day? We've showed some clips of the NBA and what they've done and how those $30 and $40 million guys were the biggest cheerleaders because we may not have fans or many of them. We may not have pep band and cheerleaders, all the great things that we've developed and grown here. And you used a word to me that I'm trying to live by right now. There's two words we're looking at a lot every day. Consistency is one. Can you stay consistent when things around you are not consistent? And, so consistency is a big one, and I appreciate you using that word. But the second one is culture. The culture is something that, we developed early. We try to live up to it. I was talking to Mel Tucker yesterday about, him developing his culture. When Mark D'Antonio was here, it was his culture. When Ron Mason, it was his culture. Nick Saban. I mean, you go back over the years that I've been here, and I've had some incredible people to learn from, along with a million players, to this day, whether it be the Mateen Cleaveses or the Steve Smiths or figuring out on Magic Johnson. I just talked to Kirk Gibson the other day. He's given me a lot of things, Gregory Kelser and, of course, Draymond Green and Zell and all the people, the years that have just come and gone, it seems like. But Cassius, the latest guy, and Xavier, who have done so much for our program, they followed in that culture. And I think sometimes the beginning of the year, we talked about this is a year you can lose your culture or we can build on it. And I say you lose it because there's so much going around outside world right now. There's so many distractions, from presidential races to the COVID to nobody on campus. I mean, you and I, Bill, we sit here, look out our windows, and it's a ghost town right now. Mm-hmm. But I think around the corner, some positive things are going to happen. It's been a tough 3-4 years, and yet I think there's a lot of positive things that our players, our alums, our donors, they should all be excited because, it is football weekend finally. It's football Saturday coming up in a couple days. And, I did talk to Mark D'Antonio this morning. We talked about the passing of our good friend Peter Secchia, who's done so much for this place. I had a meeting with Mel yesterday. Him and I talked about, how exciting it is to finally get to play. Going to be different, going to be strange, but it's going to be exciting. And so I'm just as excited about my team. But right now I'm kind of focusing in on football myself, because how football does, I think, is also going to have, a lot to do with how our season goes.
Good. Yes. No, I think it's yeah, you're right. You look out the window and it's a bit of a ghost town, and at the same time, so very excited to see the team take the field on Saturday against Rutgers, and it's six or so weeks later than we'd planned on, but very excited to see the season get underway, and then hopefully we'll follow shortly thereafter with men's and women's basketball and ice hockey and really get things going. So very excited to get some competition under our belt.
Well, I think we all need it. I think everybody talks about the mental health of the players, and I think it is very true. It's one of the things that we've delicately walked around, tried to plan practices, some meetings, trying to find some activities that we can still do with staying social distancing and wearing our masks and all the protocol that we have not only from our president, but also from our state. So we're adjusting to all those things. They're different, but they're not insurmountable, and I think that's the key, is that we have to move forward. We have to get back to normalcy the best we can. And I personally can't think of a better way than to kick off football. I mean, to me, Of all the jobs that I've had opportunities to go to, and some of them in the NBA, the one thing I always said, but I wouldn't be there for a football Saturday. And believe it or not, that has a major impact on my life. So I'm going to find a way to watch that game one way or another. I'm going to, pull for my Spartans. I think it's going to be a different year, but an exciting year. And as you said, we're all adjusting. I mean, hell, you and I meet. We got our masks on. We're talking. I mean, it's just a different way of life. It's not an impossible way.
No, but excellent leaders find ways to adapt. And when you think of Mel coming in, and a month later we're at stay-at-home mode, and he didn't even have all of his coaches hired at that point. And at every turn he's just found a way to take the hill. And so very exciting to get the Mel Tucker era underway this Saturday. So,
well, I know he's excited. Like I said, I spent an hour with him yesterday, and those football guys, I call them helmet head guys. They're different. I mean, that's what I love about them is they're bouncing off the walls already. And but his whole staff, I got a chance to check in, and I have snuck in and watched the practice, and it's hard to say where everything is, but I think it's very positive. And this program was in good shape. It was in good position. Mark had done a great job here, and now it's time to, as I told Mel, one advantage I had is our program was in good position when I was here, and my job was to make sure that I left it better than I found it. And that's no insult to Judd. That's a compliment to Judd. He taught me. He put the place in position. It was my job to run with it. I think that's where Mel Tucker is right now. It's his job to run with it. And our job, what I think is, as long as we're talking to boosters and alums and everybody out there, this is a great time to show your true Spartan spirit, because there's no question we need you now, maybe more than we've ever needed you in my 37 years here. And when I say that, I say it with pride. I really do. I can't wait to prove to you that we can fight through some adversity like good Spartans do, but we need your help too. And we need your help in every way, and maybe the biggest way, even though financially is always important. We need you as true Spartans. We need you supporting us, supporting our student athletes, supporting our university. And that can be by word of mouth. So anytime you get a chance, drop me a note, drop Mel a note, drop us all a note, because we're going to try to do on the field and on the court things that make you proud when you're at the, getting coffee or at a restaurant at lunch, bragging about your Spartans. Hopefully we're going to give you something good to brag about.
So, Tom, we've got one of your guys that is kind enough to join us for a few minutes today, and someone certainly worth bragging about. So, do you want to make that introduction?
I will. It's been interesting because we have Foster Lawyer, who was a high school superstar, and right here in the state of Michigan, Clarkston, Michigan. And Foster, had to do what everybody has to do. There's a process in basketball and in football and in all sports, in fact, in all aspects of life. And, what you do, the process is you come in as a freshman, you learn, you grow, you this, you that. Well, in basketball, with all the one and done stuff, they act like that's the norm. The norm is to grow through the process. And I will say this, Foster has taken 2 tough years, where coaches are on him, fans are on him, everybody's on him. And as you can see, he's still standing. Maybe he's sitting, but he's still here. And he's probably had, and I'm anxious to hear what he says, but maybe the best fall of his life. And that includes high school, where everything went his way. He's stronger. He's better. He's way better defensively. He's shooting the ball like he did back in high school. And he weathered a lot of storms. And I think that's, when I look back at mine, how many people say I couldn't do this, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do this. And here I am still sitting 37 years later. Well, he's only sitting here on his third year, but it's an important year for him, for us. And I promise you, he's going to be a valuable part and a very instrumental part of what I think the success we can have. I look at him, as I said in the meeting today, to be a guy because he's capable of shooting it, but he's really capable of passing the ball and distributing. He has a tremendously high basketball IQ. And we just lost a guy who had one of the best basketball IQs since I've been here in Cassius Winston. So Drew Neitzel was a guy a few years ago that came in and helped lead us to a Final Four. We had a lot of great wings. I think he would tell you, and maybe he'll tell you, that we've got a lot of good wings, right, Foster? And we just need a quarterback to direct them. And we've got some guys we're working in there, but none has played better than he has this fall. So, Foster, tell me first about the adjustment from high school to college. Since you went from a good guy, good coach in high school to a jerk in college, how's that adjustment been?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as, it really is a process. It's something, a lot of the NBA guys want to clone the saying, trust the process or whatever that might be. But I think it's just taking it day by day, making sure each and every day you approach with the mindset of getting better, with the mindset of, growing not only as an individual, but helping those, around you grow as well. And I think that's something with the culture that we have here on our basketball team and at Michigan State is really, being that great teammate, being the guy that's there for others when they're maybe down, and helping them in whatever way they need help, as well as helping yourself.
Well, that is a very good answer, because we've talked a lot about teammates helping each other, because there's going to be times on the floor, whether we're home or away, where there could be just 15, 20 of us pulling for one another. I talked earlier, Foster, about the way we looked at the NBA and how those LeBron was on cheering, and we're going to have to be doing that. Nobody's been better at that than you, but I think what you've brought is this ability to help other people. And I think I've always say great players play great, but elite players make other players great. And I think you do it with your voice, and now that the objective is to do it with your game. So how do you think you can get some guys involved and really take that to another level with some of the talented wings you have, of course, like Aaron and Gabe and Rock and now Josh? Keep our fingers crossed that his health stays well, but those four guys are electrifying at times.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of great pieces this year. I think we have a lot of interesting pieces that not everyone's been able to see yet. And I think for me going forward, being a point guard, and it's really my job to put those guys in their best position to succeed. So whether that's knowing their tendencies or knowing where Gabe might want the ball pass versus where Josh might want the ball pass, I think it's up to me and the other playmakers on our team to really put those guys in a position to win, because ultimately putting them in a position to win is going to help our team and help our team win. And that's really all that matters.
So tell the people how you've dealt with the COVID, how we've dealt with it as a team, from the first maybe Zoom meeting back home to the Zoom meeting, once you got here, to the meetings out on the patio because we weren't allowed to be, inside, and the adjustments you made of maybe, working out one-on-one and then kind of getting pods or groups, and finally we're all together. So why don't you share how strange, how unique, how different, but how you've adapted to all those things?
Yeah, it has been a process. I think it's weird to look back and think that it's been going on for 6 months or so, because I look back when we first had when everyone got sent home from campus, when we were meeting as a team on Zoom or FaceTime or a couple of weeks, and just talking just to be with our guys, to being able to come back in the summer and start being able to use the gym and the weight room again finally. And then I think it's just been a gradual process from there. We're finally back to being able to do things completely as a team. It's been awesome to be back as a full team, being on the court together. We had groups in the summer where we could only do things with a third of the guys, and we just rotate and rotate until everybody got their chance to be in the gym. But I think it's been a process, like you said. At one point, when we were in quarantine, whether it might have been for going home or whatever reason, there was a point where we're all going and shooting outside at an elementary school. So I think it's been different from that aspect. But at the same time, it's just approaching each and every day with that mindset of you're going to do whatever it takes for you to get better as a person, but also to help your teammates get better.
Well, a couple other facts before I let you go. Foster might be our best student, if not our best, one of our best. I think you're carrying a 3.6, 3.7 and not easy classes. He's done an unbelievable job academically. And, I think the other thing that you've got going for you got 2 Big Ten championships under your belt, don't you?
Yep, 2 for 2 so far.
Got a Final Four under your belt. We think we could have had another one last year, but you got a Final Four under your belt. And now, instead of being a small part of it, you're going to be an integral part of it. How exciting is that? How much are you looking forward to it? And how do you balance your academics with your athletics as well as you do in school? And I want to tell the people out there, the worst thing to do as a coach is to get players smarter than the head coach. So I'm going to quit recruiting guys like you pretty soon because that interferes with my intelligence a little bit.
Well, as far as going forward with this season, playing behind Cassius these past 2 years has been great for me from the standpoint of learning from him each and every day, seeing the things that he does and the things I need to improve on. But it's also been tough, as everyone know, you're not always going to have the ideal playing time or whatever that may be for yourself. But going forward through this year, I'm just excited to be out there, really contributing for my team. I just want to do whatever is going to help our team win, because ultimately that's my goal. I think that's our team's goal, to make another Final Four run, but ultimately go win a national championship. And as far as that goes, I think it's been awesome having these fall practices, and then now that we're full go, I think those have been really great for our whole team. It's been great to have a guy like Josh back and see him healthy out on the court. And I'm just really excited as far to get the season going, and with the football season starting Saturday, that's exciting as well.
Well, I do want to thank you for spending some time with us. I know we're going to kick it back over to Bill, but I'll close it out by saying for all of you student athletes that are watching, or all you alums, or all the great donors that we have, this guy's going to represent you all well. And he is going to learn that there is a process in life, and it's not always been easy. You don't come from where he came from as well as he's played and sit behind a guy like Cassius. But I don't think he just sat. I think he learned, and I think he kept his mouth shut. He did his job. And now for me, he's the kind of guy I got to pull for, because I was in the same boat at one time, so I appreciate it. So to all of you boosters out there, all you alums out there, Bill, I want to thank you for having us. I want to let you know that, it's time we're moving forward. I mean, we are moving forward. I'm sitting here looking at a beautiful new addition to Mun Arena that we're still working on right outside my window. I'm looking across at our football facility, and a new addition that's been brought up. There's some cranes in the sky. Yes, we're going through some tough times, but Spartans will move on, and we'll do what we do. And I've been lucky enough to be part of it for 37 years, which is hard to believe. But at the same time, we got some more years ahead of us, and we got some good years ahead of us. So let's all back our football team, since we have nobody else to pull for here on Saturday, right? Right, Foster? We're going to have early morning practice, and then we're going to celebrate the football season. Bill, I know you're excited about it. Let's get Mel off to a good start, and thank all of you so much. And Bill, thanks for having this. It's a great venue. Hopefully Foster does as well on the court as he does on the interview.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, Tom, and thanks, Foster, for taking some time with us today. And I'd be remiss when I introduced Tom, we went through that incredible litany of athletic accolades. But I would, from a behind the scenes perspective, I would challenge you to find a college basketball coach in the country that pays as much attention to academics as Tom Izzo. And he lives our mission of athletic success, academic success, and success in life. And that academic success, I think, Foster would share with you that our coaching staff over in basketball is they're on them on the court, but they're making sure that everybody's succeeding academically as well. And that's been a huge part of Tom's mission. And it sometimes that gets lost in the incredible success on the court. But I'd be remiss to not emphasize that point as Tom did today. So Tom Foster, thanks so much for joining us today.
Hey, Bill, I'd like to say this to add on to that. He could be our next academic All-American. We had one in Xavier last year, and there's only like 6 or 7 in the history of our program. So Foster, pressure's on you. Get back and get studying. Hurry up.
All right. Get back to studying, Foster.
Yes, sir.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks.
So, friends, that wraps up our AD Luncheon today. Our next AD Lunch is scheduled for Thursday, November 5th. That will be in this format. So, unfortunately, lunch is on your own. But please look for an email to register and the lineup of our next head coaches. Again, I want to thank our friends at Auto Owners for their generous support. And I'd encourage you to visit SpartanFund.net. You'll find on our Spartan Fund website not only information about the ability to make a gift, but there's some really wonderful vignettes that our student athletes have produced to talk about what their experience is as a Spartan athlete and how Michigan State has changed their lives. And I find them really extraordinarily heartwarming, and those are also at SpartanFund.net. I think if you enjoyed what you saw today, you'll enjoy those just as much. So thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you being here and hearing a little bit about what's going on behind the scenes at MSU Athletics. And we'll look forward to seeing you again in November. And until then, go green.